Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is May 7th, 2025, episode 112, and Bitcoin is a pumping boy, getting close to 98,000 bucks, and it's saying, "We don't give a crap about you, Jerome Powell." Of course, the Feds earlier today did not lower interest rates. I'm sure tomorrow the traditional financial market is going to be feeling it, but Bitcoin is saying, F you, Feds. Lovely. Because there's more people saying F you. We've got New Hampshire, who's become the first state to approve the crypto reserve law. Not just put forth a bill, but it's now actually approved. So they're the first state to actually approve this, so they can start buying alternative investments, including crypto, anything over 500 billion bucks of market cap. But if you really look at it, we see that Bitcoin is the only one that qualifies for this. But they can start buying, and they won the race. I think we're going to see a bunch more states follow suit and get this thing approved. Also, Bitcoin is set up for a perfect rally thanks to the Fed, according to Arthur Hayes. We're going to go through a market watch, Bitcoin technical analysis, all this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global, and Bitcoin getting really close to 99,000 bucks. FU Fed Reserve. Let's say it all at the same time, folks, because I think half the United States and maybe half the world means it. It's like, we don't need you anymore. Let's get right into some Bitcoin technical analysis and look at all the pretty green on this screen. Bitty up 2% as we speak to 98,750 bucks. Ethereum up a meager 0.8%, 1841. Solana up 1.75%, 149 bucks. XRP up $2.16, 1% up to $2.16. SUI up 4%, $3.52. Doge up 3.5%, $3.12. And generally what happens, folks, is the big dog, everybody's watching the Bitcoin, right? What's the Bitcoin doing? Everybody's putting their money into the Bitcoin. Once they see that the Bitcoin is up, then the rest of the followers, the little sheep, they start following along. And as we've seen in the past, we've got the Bitty, the big dog, a little more modest in terms of gains and losses compared to all the other shit coins. So if Bitcoin's up 2%, I wouldn't be surprised if by tomorrow, because again, they're all watching what's going to go on with Bitcoin, once these other coins see that, the narrative is, oh, the price went up, then people will start flowing some money into these. And of course, once these go up, then people are going to get a little more risky and say, oh, those went up, I'm going to start putting my money into the real shit coins. And that's when the money starts flowing down into the Pepes and the Shibas and, the Pudgy Penguins and the Peanut the Squirrel and the AVAX and the on and on and on and on and on, right? Down the list into the thousands of these coins. So right now, Bitty is a pumping. Let's see what happens with the other coins coming up. Let's get into our crypto bubbles, and we see, let's check hourly here first. 98% in the green for the hour. And about the same, about 95% 1% in the green for the day. We've got EOS up 17% as the big gainer, STX up 10%. Looking at the weekly gains or losses, actually for the week, I would call it a 60-40, the opposite way. Most things are in the red, and let's take a look at the monthly. And once we zoom out that far, we see pudgy little penguins up 177%, virtual up 198%, Sui up 70%, Fartcoin up 80%. Taking a look at the total hash rate, let's just refresh this, make sure we've got the latest information. We do see that the total hash rate is still way up there at 909 billion. 909 billion terahashes per second. So way up. And of course, we know that the Bitcoin price follows the hash, so we should see a jump in Bitcoin price coming up soon, and we are seeing it already. Additionally, when we look at the M2 global money supply, we know we've talked about this before, where the Bitcoin price follows this pretty closely, and it has looked since 2013 all the way to now. Pretty close correlation. Let's zoom in a little bit here, and we see even more of that correlation as the M2 money supply does 2 to 3 months before, so does the biddy 2 to 3 months after. Total market cap for Bitcoin, again, I want to refresh because I think this has gone up, $1.96 trillion, Ethereum $222 billion, XRP $126 billion, Solana $78 billion, Doge $26 billion, Cardano $24.5 billion, Tron $23.5 billion, Sui up to close to $12 billion, Chainlink $9.3 trillion, Avalanche $8.3 billion. These were the billions. The only one in the trillion was Bitcoin. So Avalanche number 13, the gaming infrastructure coin at $8.3 billion. Total market cap has now once again hit $3 trillion on the nose, with Bitcoin holding 65.5% of that. Ethereum down 7.4%. XRP holding steady at 4.25%. Crypto Fear and Greed Index currently sitting at a 65 in greed. Yesterday was 67 in greed, and last week a 53 in neutral. There are 1,071 days left until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028, and there are 154,263 blocks until then. Total assets by market cap, we've got gold $22.8 trillion, Microsoft $3.2 trillion, Apple $2.9, Nvidia $2.8, Amazon $2 trillion even, Bitcoin just behind them. Now they have, everything has flipped. Google, Google, who was in number 6, it seems they took the shaft today, down 7.5%. On the stock market. So, I didn't read to see what happened with Google, but, they're always up to no good, those guys. Bitcoin, again, at $1.943 trillion. Silver, $1.85 trillion. Google, $1.84 trillion. Saudi Aramco, $1.6 trillion. And Fuckbook at $1.5 trillion. You can currently get 1,014 Satoshis for one fiat US dollar, and the way it's looking, you're not going to be able to get more than, you'll be able to only get under 1,000 of these Satoshis by tomorrow if things keep going this way. And just so everybody's aware, there's each Bitcoin can be divided into 100 million Satoshis. So, and when it gets to the point where a Satoshi is worth $1, then that means Bitcoin will be worth 100 million bucks. If this gets to 10 Satoshis, 100, then that would be what, 1 million and 10 would be 10 million bucks. So it could get into some crazy numbers. Right now, we're looking for this to get under 1,000. Total U.S. debt. That's definitely more than 1,000. 96,821,000,000,000, equaling 107,572 per U.S. citizen, or 323,000 per U.S. taxpayer. Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, has saved $405 billion so far for U.S. citizens, which equals to 3,608 per taxpayer. And look at the big red exclamation here. This looks like a nuclear warning sign here. Interest on debt, net interest on debt, $1,022 billion. So insane amount of debt, insane amount of interest going on in the good old US of A. Looking at the good parts of what's going on in the states, we have New Hampshire. They have become the first state to approve crypto reserve. Governor Kelly Ayotte signed a bill into law that allows the investment of a portion of the state's public funds into precious metals and crypto assets. New Hampshire has become the first state to allow the investments of its public funds into crypto assets, with its governor signing the new law on yesterday. The state beat a number of others to the punch this year, as what had started as a surge in state lawmaker momentum had run into roadblocks over recent weeks, as the first to authorize its treasurer to set up such a reserve. New Hampshire could very well beat the U.S. government in forming a stockpile, too. New Hampshire is once again the first nation. New Hampshire Governor Kelly Ayotte, a Republican who's in her first year in office, posted on social media site X. The New Hampshire bill allows the investment of up to 5% of public funds in a digital asset that has at least $500 billion in market capitalization, currently leaving Bitcoin as the only qualifying asset. Now, it did say precious metals or Bitcoin. So if we go back here, we also see that silver would qualify and gold would qualify. State Rep Keith Ammon, the lawmaker behind the bill, told CoinDesk that the new law embraces financial innovation and helps diversify the state's investment to mitigate inflation caused by the federal government's unending money printing. Yep, the money debasement that we talk about all the time. He also credited the Satoshi Action Fund with helping cement the state as a trailblazer in digital assets. We're incredibly excited about the win that has occurred in New Hampshire, said Dennis Porter, founder of the Satoshi Action Fund, that's been pushing state lawmakers all over the country to pursue reserves. He's hoping other states will follow suit, he said in a CoinDesk interview. Yeah, I feel like they will. Now that one state has become the first, the other states are going to start, follow the leader. Oh my God, if we don't do this, we're going to miss out. FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. This is how they do it. It's one person has to lead and then the other sheep follow along. It's kind of sad. You would think that, they'd be smart enough to say approved, whichever came first. But I don't believe New Hampshire was first in proposing the bill, but they're first to pass the bill. The first one's the hardest by far, Porter said. Having a state that's actually gotten it done, it'll really increase the political momentum. State House Republicans in New Hampshire also posted on X Tuesday, boasting that their state is officially the first state to lay the groundwork for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Arizona had been the first state to get a similar measure into its governor's desk, but the legislation was vetoed, though other bills are still awaiting government consideration there. Florida has also withdrawn its own effort, joining a number of other states where the reserve push was fizzled. But North Carolina remains a strong contender because its effort is being championed by a prominent lawmaker. President Donald Trump had called for his administration to set up its own Bitcoin reserve, and a separate crypto stockpile through the Treasury Department is still examining what the federal government has on hand that can be redirected into these eventual funds. Right, so congratulations to New Hampshire. Nice little town, eh? This is the downtown, imagine. And then we're dealing with skyscrapers when we head down to the city here. But it looks like a beautiful place. I've never been, but maybe one day I will go. I wonder if they're also going to start accepting the biddy. That would be nice. Bitcoin is set up for a perfect rally, according to Arthur Hayes. Thanks to the Fed. Thank you, Fed. I'm sure not by their positive doing. I'm sure the Fed, when we go through this article, it's going to be because of their blundery. Everything is in place in order for Bitcoin to rally to new heights this year, said crypto entrepreneur Arthur Hayes. Bitcoin will soar to new heights, touching 150,000 this year before altcoins then rally, Bitcoin billionaire and outspoken crypto mogul Arthur Hayes recently said, and investors will have the monetary authorities in the U.S. to thank for that. The former BitMEX boss said in an interview with last week's Token 2049 conference in Dubai. According to the crypto entrepreneur, inflation is likely to continue to, which investors have argued will be good for assets like Bitcoin. I think that the setup is perfect for a rally on risk assets, just like we saw in the third quarter of 2022 until early 2025, Hayes told Crypto Banter channel on YouTube. We have a similar setup today. We have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the markets, he said. The monetary authorities, especially in America, cannot handle that, so they're going to resort to money printing. Yeah, we know they will. Bitcoiners often tout the cryptocurrency as a hedge against what they deem to be the irresponsible central bank monetary policy of printing cash. In the past, Bitcoin has done well when the Fed has lowered interest rates and flooded the market with cheap money. Bitcoin was recently trading hands for 96,500. Not anymore. Now we're up to almost 99 grand now. Or we pulled back a bit to 98.5. We were just at 98.7. Bitcoin up in the past day, according to CoinGecko data. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday decided to keep interest rates still, leading to a small price jump in the crypto market. A fresh capital has entered the Bitcoin space since the approval of the spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund earlier this year. The investment vehicles, which trade on stock exchanges, allow ordinary people to buy shares via brokerage accounts that track the price of Bitcoin. Hayes, who the crypto-friendly President Trump pardoned in March, added that he thought Ethereum and Solana would also rally following an expected rise in Bitcoin's price later this year. That said, Hayes last described his short-term market prediction strategy accuracy as pretty shit. So take that for what it's worth. He described last year's his short-term market prediction strategy as pretty shit. Well, at least he's living up to it. I think I remember where he said he's not going to expect much from Bitcoin. And even now, with $150,000 cycle peak, I still don't know if he's asking much about Bitcoin even there. Is it realistic? Potentially. I think, look, co-founder of BitMEX, right? This guy ain't no small timer. He's a big shooter. And my thought is a lot of people following him. So he can't give huge predictions. You know, if he says Bitcoin's going to $1 million and it doesn't go to $1 million, then maybe people are going to come looking for him, lawsuits and whatever else. That's why on this show, we do not give you financial advice. In fact, we simply give you the Class B rated information you've come to expect from my show. But seriously, folks, you know, do your own research. I personally feel like the price is going to pop quite a bit more than 150 grand. My prediction all along has been based on the previous models and the historical cycle peaks, and I've got between 180 grand and I think 320 on the high. So, you know, I guess he's not that far off, a little more conservative. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see the 250s. But you never know. I just feel like all this good news that we've had with Bitcoin, you know, first, the Bitcoin president. Then we've got the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Then we've got, you know, the UAC, United Arab Emirates, UAE, saying we are buying the Bitcoin. We've got the US saying they're going to buy the Bitcoin. We've got BlackRock currently now with over 600,000 Bitcoin. We've got Strategy with over 500, I think it's 550,000 Bitcoin now. It's just the good news keeps coming, and the price hasn't really reflected that. So I'm hoping we see, you know, some more God candles of, you know, 10,000 bucks jumping in one day. And hopefully one day we see what I'm saying I dubbed first, and that would be the creator candle of $100,000 jump in one day. Other people are calling it the Omega candle. Whatever. Omega, that's the last letter in the alphabet. That's like the ass jump. No, we want the creator. If a God candle is 10,000, the creator candle should be 100,000. So I feel like we could be doing a little more than this 150K that Arthur Hayes is suggesting. But again, you know, it could also sit sideways. Will it drop down? Maybe after the usual cycle peak in October, November. But right now, I think we are really, we've gotten over the 96,000, which has been the point where basically everybody breaks even. So around that 96,000 price is where the short-term holders have their break even. So anything above that, they've made money. So what has been happening is it'll get to 96 grand and then the price will stop chopping down because, oh, we made fucking 0.5%. Sell, right? And then the price starts coming down. So this time around, let's hope that we're not seeing the same thing. In fact, let's hope that we're seeing the real pump. Like right now, again, price back up to 98,700. So, and again, I won't be surprised seeing these outliers, these shit coins, secondary market style coins. Remember, there's Bitcoin and there's altcoins. So everything except Bitcoin is considered an altcoin, folks. Just heads up on that one. But if Bitcoin goes up 1%, you can expect that, you know, XRP is going to go up 2 or 4%. You can expect SUI is going to go up the same, 2, 4, 8%. You can expect Doge is going to pump. Solana is going to do twice as that. You know that. Ethereum, I don't trust them. The fact that they have an unlimited supply, it's just been going downhill. For the past couple of years, and this is still, their all-time high was still in 2021. right? Whereas Bitcoin's already created new all-time highs this cycle peak. Ethereum, the cycle peak, the all-time high is still back in 2021. So I mean, they're losing market share. They have an unlimited supply. I don't know what to say. It's not my favorite. When I talk about the big three, I talk about Bitcoin, Solana, and XRP personally. I really like Sui. I wish I had put more money into it when it was cheaper. I've got a little bit. Doge, I got bags and bags of that because it's so freaking cheap, right? XRP, I've got a shitload of that too. It was so cheap when I bought in. Like, when you buy on the low, this is the price you get it at, right? I'm talking about pennies for fucking XRP, pennies for Doge, and it's still pennies. But, Doge was at $1 at one point, right? 4 years ago. XRP was around $3.50 not too long ago. So, I keep seeing articles about XRP talking about, oh, is it going to go to $5, $10? And then I see other articles about, will it go to 100? Will it go to 1,000? I'm like, 1,000? Like, are you fucking serious? I don't see it going to 1,000. I don't even see it going to 100. But there's the potential for it, and that's why I bought it in the first place, because I kept seeing all these articles saying XRP to $100, and I'm like, if it's at 30 cents and I don't buy this fucking thing and it goes to $100, like, I'm gonna kick myself. And so I had to jump in and buy some, right? Folks, I am not suggesting today is a good day to buy because, as you know, I am a strong proponent in buying the dip, right? You want to buy, whether it's traditional financial markets or whether it's crypto or whether it's a house, for fuck's sakes, right? You want to buy the dip. You want to buy it when the price is low, and you want to sell it when the price is high. If you're buying a house, buy it in December when nobody else is buying. There's no bidding wars. There's no crap like that. You can lowball, but when it's time to sell your house, damn straight you want to sell it April or May. When you're buying, Bitcoin or any, altcoin, do you want to buy it on a green day when it's up 2, 3, 4? No. You want to buy it when everybody's shitting their pants and selling it. Now, currently, it's, now we're at very close to 99,000, 98,835 on the Bitcoin. But again, things filter down. So first you're going to see the Bitcoin pump, then you're going to see the altcoins pump, then it's going to filter down to the shit coins and the ultra shit coins. And those ultra shit coins, make no mistake, is potentially where you could make these 100 or 20x, 10x, 40x gains, but also be aware that you could completely lose your shirt and those things could go to zero. Like, if you're going to go into things like that, the ultra shit coins, number one, do not go heavy into these. I'm talking about 2 or 3% of your portfolio. Fine, go into a shit coin like that, but you need to be watching this thing like a hawk, like every day, because these are the pump and dump rug pull schemes that are going on in crypto. So more power to you if you can pull off one of these pump and dumps. Of course, there's going to be a whole bunch of suckers that are left holding the bag, but you, because you're a smart, savvy investor, are not going to be one of those people. You're going to be selling on the high. When I say the high, don't be upset if you sell at 80 or 90% of the high. Like, if something goes to $100 and you sold it at, and you bought it at $20, let's say, and you sell it at 80 or 90, be happy. Don't be upset that, it went to 100, I missed a couple percent. No, be happy if you can flip it at a very, very good gain. Now, again, the way to make these great gains is to buy the dip. the even better way to make these gains is to have bought these coins when the price was super low, when FTX was crashing, when the whole world of crypto was coming to an end. Sell all your Bitcoin, it's going to zero, all this stupidity, right? If you had bought, Doge, I think it was like 3 cents, right? XRP was under a quarter. Ethereum was down quite a bit. Bitcoin was down to, I think it was 14 or 12 grand, right? Solana was fucking $20, I believe. So when you really look at and take a long-term approach, this is the best way to go. Again, if you're talking about shit coins and, something going up 10,000%, well, there was a time where you'd buy something and it would go up for 2-3 months and you'd have time to, pull your money out. Then the time frame got to more like a month. Then it was more like they would come out and in 2 weeks it would dump to shit. And then it was down to a week, then 2 days, then 1 day. And now it's almost like you better be ready in fucking 45 minutes because that rug is going to be pulled under you. So, be careful with the shitcoinery is all I'm saying. Folks, I'm very happy. Thanks everybody who joined me. Shout out to Christian. He's got his prediction of 125 to 35 max. Ethereum is being claimed as a security, and he's got XRP with a big rocket on it. I think I'm with you on the XRP. I don't like how they want to create a global CDBC with the XRP. However, that's not why we're holding it as investors. We're holding it to, let it go up and then dump it, right? Pull the rug on the Fed. Wouldn't that be nice? Folks, remember, money is abundant, money's everywhere. There is approximately $900 trillion in assets globally. So go out there and get your share of it. It's time that's scarce, so use your time wisely. Super important. We're only here for so long. Use that time wisely. Spend less money than when you earn, and that way you always stay in the green and you're always making more money than you're spending. If you start making more money one way or the other, whether it's through a good idea, whether it's through a promotion, whether it's through a raise, start saving more money. Don't start spending more money, and start saving today. If you're young, 18, 20, start saving. Maybe you can retire when you're 40 or 45. And if you have a great idea, also start that today, even if you're not ready. I am on a spaceship path to 500 subscribers this year, folks, and I would like you to be one of them. Please do share, like, comment, and especially subscribe to the show, and we will see you on the next stream. Thanks so much for joining.